How you going, everybody? It's me, Dua Lipa, and welcome back to the Minecraft Guide. I can't believe I finally get to say it, lads, but today is time. In just a matter of 20-30 minutes, this place right here is gonna be transformed, but also more. There's only one way to kick it off, and that is in honor of this old, cold, dusty open space. You gotta leave a like on this video right now. Once you go ahead and do that for me, we can move on with doing not one, but two interiors in today's interior guide. Oh sniffers, how have you been doing? I feel so neglectful. I haven't walked over to you and looked at you, fed you, and well, I shouldn't really say how long it's been since you've had food. Will get me in trouble. Good to see you're looking as good as ever. Yes, that's right, not one, but two interiors in today's continuation of Project Hollow. Interior number one is pretty straightforward and obvious. Interior number two. For interior number two, lads and laddies, I'd like to reintroduce you to old Betsy, the poison spider spawner farm that we set up a while ago. This beautiful little contraption, it's all interiored out and it's wonderful. However, not so much. You see, down below, I like the feeling. It's grand and fancy. And up here on the surface, we have a mildly offensive looking statue right there to mark the spider spawner. And that's it. When working on an interior of any Minecraft build, big or small, well, big or small, it's gonna change a lot of the vibe here. Filling out the inside of your build, the most important thing here is, well, your build. You gotta have a build to actually fill out on the inside. The second most important thing is the actual sizing of your build. The vibe of your interior and what you're gonna actually be able to pull off inside of your build, it's going to greatly shift. If you got more space, like our starter cabin, maybe you do a couple different rooms. But if you're working with a smaller build, like the top of old Betsy over here, you're gonna have to get a little bit more creative. I've got a great feeling. We'll talk a little bit more about sizing and interior proper tricks and everything like that. Of course, after we have an interior to decorate. So this time, my dear friends, our story technically begins in between episodes. Right after I finished the last episode's project, I slid back down that tunnel to the basalt zone and started mining up as much blackstone as I could handle. I ended up mining up, I think, about 9 stacks of blackstone in order for today's build. So in case you, I don't know, haven't caught on by now or something, enamored by my voice, I don't know. The first part of today's episode involves constructing a proper tower to mark where our spider spawner farm is. I was thinking we would start with something kind of like this, like we'll have a step up to the tower, then a front door right here. Then I was thinking beyond that, maybe like some kind of grand arch arching around the door. And of course, because this is marking the spider farm, we're gonna absolutely have to come in with a little bit of red too. I think black and red combined smack dab together on one build. I mean, you'll know from a million miles away that this is clearly old Betsy, the spider farm. Oh, no, buddy. I don't know where in the world you came from. I slept as soon as it was nighttime. But don't do that again. And so, that brings us to today's first build. The experience while building today's tower. This is going to be a little bit different for you. You see, today's episode, it's not about what's on the outside. You have to look inside sometimes, and that's what we'll be doing today. Instead of walking you through a step-by-step of building this tower, we will save that for like a different episode or something like that in the future. Instead, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about my newest obsession, this Serbian dancing woman. No, like no lie, like I'm obsessed with these. In a post-pandemic world that we are currently residing in here together, my brain has been entirely rotted, corroded down to the bone, and my attention span entirely erased in the process. But this new fixation, my next new fixation, is caught it back. The Serbian dancing woman started popping up on my feed about, I don't know, middle of October or something like that. After that, there's been more and more takes on the Serbian dancing woman. If you don't know about the Serbian dancing woman, consider yourself lucky. How the story goes, it is pretty simple. Picture yourself, you there, standing in the middle of Serbia, but also in the middle of Serbia in the middle of nighttime. Then all of a sudden, out the window, you see a dancing woman in the street. She's got her arms up in kind of like this T-pose and like bounces side to side. Yeah, that's the Serbian dancing woman. And as soon as you've seen her, you're done. We'll leave it like that, but I don't know, use your imagination, fill it in. I'm a truthful guy. I like to keep it real with you. I cannot confirm or deny the true real-life existence of this woman because I've never been to Serbia. All I can say here really is that these videos of this mysteriously darkly shrouded woman dancing in the middle of the street in the middle of nighttime and then chasing the viewer, I can't get enough of them. I need more of it, and at this point, I need it in like a Minecraft mod or something like that so I can experience it up close and personal the way I guess I like to experience everything. Just a little bit of time later and voila, here we go. One of the most evil looking towers that I have built in all of my time playing this game. I got the tall spikes on the top, I think the very first lightning rod I've ever made. The red, the black, the deep slate, the dark oak. It makes me want to build like a whole haunted zone over there. Serbian lady and all. With that build cracked up and done, we can now finally roll on with the main part of the episode, which is gonna be interiors. The first type of interior that I'd like to talk about getting done is your cramped, your small, your tight interior. When it comes to the inside of your build that maybe has a little bit of a smaller footprint, you're really gonna have to get creative here. I have this space right here and somehow I need to take it and level it up. First things first, the necessities. Whether it's a crafting build or just a beautiful build, I highly recommend trying to work a crafting table into the build somewhere. After all, you never know when you need to I don't know, craft some brand new beautiful trapdoors or even roof blocks. So the ceiling of your build. If you have a smaller build, a great spot to start is the ceiling. See, our strategy is going to be a little bit different in a second here when we get to a bigger build. But if you have a small build, like we're talking maybe a one-roomed build, which, speaking of, your good old one-roomed build. If your build is a little bit smaller, like ours is right here, right now, then I recommend leaving it as one room. Well, I guess maybe. If you got some vertical height to your build, like a tower or something, you can do like multiple rooms stacked up, but splitting up this floor right here, cutting it in like half or something for 2 rooms, it's more than likely not going to work out. Chandelier lighting. Every single good build needs a good source of lighting. This is one of my favorite easy chandeliers in the entire game. Using a glass block, a couple glass panes, and then finally, to put the icing on the cake here, some candles. We can make a pretty simple and cool looking chandelier. To cap it all off, I get my hands on a flint and steel and of course light these candles, and it'll be a cool, ambiance. It's not necessarily going to block a whole lot of spawns on this build, but it's going to look pretty cool. I can't tell if I maybe hung the chandelier a little too low, but I think I'll leave it. It's 2023, baby. Take those old torches, they're dusty, crusty, throw them out, and replace them with lanterns inside of your build. It makes it look even more fancy. Another great and large thing that I like to put in almost any of my builds is a little bit of extra storage. Maybe you got a flint and steel, you don't know what to do with it? Well, put it in the storage. Or maybe even you got extra string from the farm down below. Same thing, it could go in the storage. And chests look cool too. Now to finish up the ceiling of this tower, we need to go all the way down to the bottom of the world and grab my granite. This is basically the only granite that I have in the world. Then it's back up to the top. You see the ceiling inside of our room right now, it looks nice. It's a small ceiling, so we could get away with doing a relatively flat, plain looking thing, but I was thinking of molding on the ceiling too. Maybe to add a little bit more detail, depth, and of course variation all in one. All we really need to do is slap a little bit of granite in here, just like that right there, and boom, it looks a little bit better. That spot though, we can make it look even more cool. So it's kind of funny here. You see, chains are made out of iron, so you would think maybe iron block would match the chandelier perfectly, but no. The chain actually matches a netherite block a little bit more, but that's real expensive. I think instead of a netherite block or something, we could just do granite right there, polished, and I don't know. I think it looks nice. Beds, another key thing to any interior. Big, small, medium, large, wide, or tall. I like to put a bed inside of here and maybe spice it up with some trapdoors. The trapdoors almost make it look like a bench or something, you know? The floor is a little plain and empty right here, you see? What if we maybe did carpet right there? It accents the bed, accents the chandelier, and it accents the cobwebs, of course. We gotta theme this build right. If you're doing an interior for, say, a spider farm or something like that, maybe think about the spider and what they like to do. Cobwebs. I don't know what spiders like to do in their free time, but every time they hang around, they seem to make cobwebs. So maybe we go ahead and make this build up top feel really, really old with lots of cobwebs. Somebody better dust. Finally here, or just about, we of course need a front door on this build. I was thinking maybe a spruce door. That kind of looks like an evil tower build, right? Spruce door right there, cobwebs peeking through on the inside, go up, we got spikes, go up even more, we got spikes, and a lightning rod on the top. I'm not gonna lie, lightning rods do confuse me a little bit. Hopefully this isn't gonna cause my whole build to burn down if lightning hits it, but I mean, considering the fact that we mainly built out of stone, we should hopefully be good. Now, the other thing that I like to say about a build is that the build is not done once you finish the interior of it. You have to do the outside, the exterior as well, like decorate it. Maybe put dead bushes near the evil build, dirt, you know, things like that. However, we have a whole nother house to get done. We'll come back later. In summary, the key to doing small interiors is get creative with the space that you're working with. With a small interior, it's really all on the small details, as in like blocks that are one block that still look really, really interesting, like say cobwebs. Another category of blocks that I find is really, really good for small compact interiors is workstations. Use a combination of cool looking blocks with some handy little chandelier build tricks, and sooner or later, you'll be done. Alright, so next up, we've got the big boy, this house right here. This is what I would call a medium to large size interior. Our strategy with an interior this size is going to be completely different. In step number 1, we need to think about what we want to put inside of this house. With this being kind of like our main base of operations, the hub over here, I know for sure I want to have a bedroom inside of this house. I was thinking maybe with the height here, we might be able to add an upstairs and put the bedroom up there. I also know that storage is getting a little out of hand, like it's embarrassing. I almost don't even want to show you guys, like, it's bad. 100% that means I need a storage room inside of this building too. With it being a starter house, I like to run over and cook a little bit, so maybe a kitchen too, and then finally I saved a spot for a grand fireplace. What about maybe a fireplace living area where I could put like trophies, like say a map or something on the wall? That would be pretty cool too. So the first thing you're always going to want to do is think of what you actually need and want to have inside of your house. After that, I would say it's time to start setting up a floor plan. Using some kind of temporary block or maybe even better carpets that we can break instantaneously, what I think I want to do here is try and break up this build a little bit. I was imagining an upstairs. Staircases are kind of annoying sometimes, so I like to pack them into the side of my build. Maybe we'll do like a staircase right there. Like we walk in the door, then we could turn immediately, go up the stairs and sleep if I needed to. Then I was thinking maybe we could cut the build up into thirds. We could have a room over here. Maybe actually, like over here could be the storage room or something. Of course, I break it out and maybe add a door somewhere in here so I can reach the rest of the build. But I got the side door, reaching out to the rest of the base. I feel like storage would be pretty convenient over here. Maybe this space could be the kitchen. I don't need too much space, really just a couple furnaces, smokers, you know. After that, finally, of course, the fireplace is gonna be over here, so it's like the living room. There we go. Another handy little trick that you can do here is signs. If you have a bigger interior, like a maze, maybe label things out with signs so you can like remember what you want to do. After that, it's time to move. Basically room by room and get this in. Let's start here, basically the biggest test of all time. I want to get a little bit creative with this interior. If I place a cartography table, at least from that side it looks good. This side, it might be a little bit questionable as a wall block. We'll maybe fix that up later on, but that side, oh baby, that's very interesting wood panel. I think I want to use this. So what I want to do here is go kind of like room by room, section by section, talk you through my thought process, everything like that. After I kind of start to get like a rough idea as to what I want to do with my build, the fun part kicks in, which is where I start to actually like place the blocks in and mess around with ideas. Now, one of my favorite ideas of all time is going to involve a little bit of ink sacking, and unfortunately, ink sacks. I don't think I own a single one over here, and I don't think squid spawn in a river, right? Which means it's off to the ocean for me. Oh, they do spawn there. Never mind. Hey, also, to make it a little bit easier to work on this build and get the details in, I'll start by soliding up these walls. I know on the front of the build, I have a bunch of windows that I want to keep there, but I think on the back of the build, these walls, the windows back there, I might actually just make them completely disappear. I can always come back in later on and like pop a window back in, but I think to make my vision a little bit more crisp, we'll block it all in, fill it in. As always, if you can break things down to like their most simple, raw, pure, basic shape, well, if you can pull that off, it'll be a whole lot easier to work with and create a vision for what you want to do. This is the first time I've climbed down the mountain like this, actually. I swear, sooner or later, I need to come back in and build like an elevator or something so I can go up and down, but yeah. Actually, I have no clue how I'm gonna get back up. Good luck with that. The walls and the flooring. Right now, before putting in any of the details, if I can start to crack out what I want to do with, like, the actual bones of my house. Now, the actual bones of my house, I want to try something a little bit crazy here, lads. So this furnace right here, this is going to be moved over to the kitchen. I like it in a kitchen when you can, like, kind of, like, look through and see the rest of the house. So maybe we'll put it there and it'll be there forever. I guess we'll have to wait and see. After that, I want to do something crazy. I want to take the yellow terracotta, smelt it up in the furnace into an insane looking block. For the floor and the ink sacks that I just went down to the bottom of the valley to get, I need black dye. For the first time ever. That's cool. For the other thing that I want to do, I want to take bone meal and get white dye. For the first time ever. Maybe. Inside of this table over here, I want to take the black dye, I want to take the white dye, and make some interesting looking blocks. After that, oh, it's time for the floor, but not just any floor. No. One of my favorite floors of all time. I love this type of floor. We take the black powder, we take the white powder, we take the black powder, we take a little bit more white powder, and oh, yeah, you better believe it. We make a beautiful checkered floor design in here. That'll look so good. I love a checkered floor. It adds a lot of detail and variation to a house, but also it's just like, you walk in here and you're like, that's fancy, lad. Very nice house you got there. May I move in? So here's what I'm thinking, and I don't know exactly, like, fully what I'm going to end up doing inside of this room, but a checkered floor, something kind of like that, that'll look really, really good. Then I think I want to actually smooth it out a little bit with some water. So we'll place the blocks down, dump it like that, and just like that. This storage room floor. I think that looks pretty cool. How did you actually get up there, though? That was so weird. I have the perfect amount to finish this. That's so cool. Now, while those terracotta blocks keep smelting up that I'm going to need in a second, I'd like to talk about the staircase. To go upstairs inside of this house, I was thinking jungle wood, actually. Because of how I did the top of the build, I can't use oak wood, that's on the ceiling. Can't use dark oak, that's also on the ceiling. I could use spruce, but that's on the wall, so it's kind of out of the question for me too. I don't want any more pink wood anywhere, but I think jungle wood with its pinkish tone, it might kind of like complement the pink wall. I think I'll have the staircase cut up to this spot because I'm getting pretty close to the ceiling here. I'll go ahead and do a little landing, then we'll actually turn the staircase, something like this, and step up a couple more blocks. Maybe like one more, so I could have that as a window. So let's say maybe I do something that looks like this, and then I'll come back in a minute and properly finish up the floor and everything like that. Before I do that, I would like to take a look at wallpapering. Oh boy, this is tricky. So, terracotta. I love the color yellow. To be honest, yellow is probably my favorite color of all time too. It's just like such a nice color. I want to try and rotate this terracotta, get it in the right way. So yes, get it in the right way so I can create a flower looking thing like that. Now the nice thing about this is once you kind of start to figure out which way you need to be to place the pattern right, you could basically just repeat the pattern. So I would have like two like that, which means I think I would need to be back here like that for that one, right? Right. Now after that, the next row, I want to keep this shape looking good. Oh, first try, that's perfect, which means I think this one needs to go, yes, that one needs to go exactly like that to create the pattern. We're gonna have beautiful wallpaper. Finally, to finish it all off, maybe like, no, not like that. Maybe like that? No, definitely not. Does it maybe go like that? Is that the way? No. Like that? Is that the way? That's the way, right there, that's the way. Perfect. A wall looking something like that. Maybe I'll repeat it like one more time. We'll bring the wall all the way up to there. I think that'll meet up with the floor perfect.
The following Thursday.
Just a little bit of time later, zero struggle at all, and I've got a full wallpaper wall in here. This is pretty cool looking. I think the yellow will look nice. It looks pretty good in my opinion, but we've got a couple problems here. We have a little bit of a strange intersection right here. What if maybe to make a doorway, and not just any doorway, no, an arched doorway. What we could do is come in here with a little bit of dark oak trap doors and dark oak staircases, and just like that, we've got the trim that follows up and goes right around the door. That looks pretty good. Over on the inside of the storage room, we're going to want to probably have a crafting table somewhere so I can slap that down. Then we're going to have a problem with this right there. I don't like the look of that. To conceal it, I mean, there you go. No problems. Looking at the rest of this room, it looks like I am one cartography table short. We go ahead and put that right there. and it's just like new. Now, the true function of this room over here that we're setting up is pretty straightforward. It's a storage building, a storage room, so I don't think I really need much explanation here. What I want to do is maybe save room for chests on the ground, then I could do a shelf with chests. After that, we skip this block, do that one, and then we could have one final row of chests. After that, I think we'll probably run into the ceiling, so 2 rows is good. We'll do bamboo because it accents the wallpaper. All of that is unfortunately going to mean, though, that this window from the outside, it's not going to work. We're going to have to tear this entire window out and replace it with solid wall. While I'm at it, I think I'll just go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. I'll get rid of this window. To fully finish up this room over here, I say why not? One more arched doorway with maybe like a small separate storage room or even room for a staircase going downstairs in the future here, and then a couple more trapdoors. Just like that, we fully framed out and just about finished this room. All I need to do is come back in and add the details, but I'll do that later. Sticking with the core essentials of this house right here, the actual bones of it. Right now, let's swing upstairs and fill the floor in. That's probably the best spot to start here. I think for this upstairs floor, what I want to have it do is have like a big open balcony looking into the living room. I think to pull that off, I might need to pull it out to like right here and maybe chop it here. I could put like an upside down staircase, that might look pretty good. From down below, to keep it nice and simple for us here today and to keep it clean, we'll take this balcony and cut it all the way straight across the house. Nothing fancy here. Up top here though, I am noticing one big problem already, and that's going to be this wall sticking out into the house. I think what I want to maybe do here, this could work out pretty nicely too, I think, is we pull the wall all the way out, and because I have fences solid all the way up to the ceiling, I could give myself like a big window and like a small little view of the base. You can kind of see the iron farmer definitely from here. So that's kind of cool, and like the rest of the builds. Maybe from down below to make that look a little bit better, we could just do staircases right there. Fill it in. Now up top up here, I can't lie. This is going to be a whole entire mess, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that for now, and we'll come back to it later. For the kitchen right here, this is going to stay relatively open. Well, a great way to really make it feel like its own space is, of course, not only going to be switching up the floor a little bit with maybe some beautifully polished, smoothed out, some beautifully smoothed out quartz blocks. Yes. We could go ahead and put a different floor in here, but then we can also add fake depth to the floor as well. Using a couple staircases in here, I could go ahead and pop those in, and then eventually, once I have the different floor in here, it'll start to almost make like a small little transition. Another cool thing that we could do is break the chest finally and get it out of the way and add beams, pillars, supports, and things like that. What about stripped spruce beam in the back corner? That could look pretty cool. I guess it's time to start cracking out the storage room, so we'll start with the chest right there and we'll put dirt inside of it. I don't even need to say it, but when it comes to a storage room, it's item frames. Every single storage room needs item frame on the chest. One of my personal favorite blocks to throw in a kitchen is this polished or smooth stone block right there. I think it looks so nice. I think what I want to do is maybe one right there, and then right here, because of the staircase situation, we'll pop it down a little bit more. I strongly feel that every single kitchen inside of Minecraft, even though it doesn't necessarily make sense inside of a kitchen, you need a smoker, you need a blast furnace. It's the way to like detail it, decorate it up a little bit more, but also like add some function to it. While I'm at it, let's just go ahead and go crazy with the detailing. Over here, let's go ahead and add a refrigerator. I'll put a button on it and it'll come to life. Then right next to that, of course, I need the double sink. We got a fancy house here, real big mansion, you know? Double sink is great. The sign, I remember now. I can go ahead and chop it out. I'll get more water and put it in there too. It'll look wonderful. Next up, it's trapdoor time. Check this out. If I put trapdoors right there, it creates a small beam, well, not taking away from this open spot right there. I can go ahead and put a couple more trapdoors to thicken it up if I wanted to. Another cool little kitchen build trick comes in the form of barrels, except I think I want them facing the other way around like that so I don't have to necessarily see the metal part. I think if I stand all the way over here, yeah, it's perfect. We'll put barrels like that. Then after the barrels, we do chests like that. Then we'll go ahead and put a trapdoor and a trapdoor. Now I think, do I want them double? Yeah, we'll do a double one there. After that, we'll go ahead and finish this whole section off with one more barrel. Beautiful. As for the rest of the kitchen, we'll finish it off with another barrel right there and another trapdoor and another trapdoor, just like that. That looks pretty good. I want to have more than enough food storage because, I mean, hey, I like food. I really can't stress it enough. When decorating a house, one of my favorite things to do in the inside of them nowadays is candles. They're just such an interesting looking block. I can place floor down like that, light it up, and it'll give me probably more than enough light for this whole little area. Another thing that I can't stress enough when it comes to detailing your house, your builds, is scaffolding. If you're looking for a table inside of your build, I mean quite literally, there is nothing more perfect for a table than this little block right there. Well, kind of. I take it back. Another great table that you could build inside of your build is something like this. We do a staircase, we do a fence, and we do a pressure plate right on top of it. A classic build trick, but I think it looks pretty nice. We got the lit candle over there. We got a handle on the refrigerator. We got the classic stove top trick right there with some activator rails. And then finally, a lantern right there. That should just about do it for like light level and decoration inside of the kitchen. But you have to forgive me for this one. Alright, look, I'm a consistent man. If anything, I'm a consistent man. This block is a terrible looking block, and I don't recommend building with it. However, it's also a beautiful looking fake light source block. We put a couple of those up there, and all of a sudden I've got light in the kitchen, and the final thing I need is that smooth, clean floor. So right here, you can really see my staircase trick come to life. Now that I have the new proper forever floor inside of there and swap that too, you can see like we have this little boundary right there kind of defining. It kind of says like this is one room, this is another room right there. Over here I have a doorway, so very clearly it's a transition to another room. I think it all looks good. The very final thing that I think I'd like to get in here before I move on to another part of the build is maybe a little bit of different backsplash in the kitchen. The green could kind of be cool. I feel like it could like complement with the yellow, but like, I don't know. Maybe green? What do you guys think? You let me know. Oh, and also, how could I forget? Of course, every kitchen, every sink needs a faucet. The kitchen, other than maybe a rug, done. Now, it's time for the living room. This is going to be a grand, big open space. All that I really need to do here is get a beautiful looking fireplace in. Then I can smack in a ton of details like bookshelves, paintings, plants, things like that, all around it. In no time, I think it'll look pretty good. Minecraft's most beautiful fireplace of all time, and maybe begins with a couple blocks like that, and maybe some mossy as well. That would look really nice. For now, temporarily, to get all this stuff out of the way, I make a junk chest. Couple more blocks, maybe drop them down. Something like this right here. And that's not bad. Oh, the ideas are flowing. What if maybe I go ahead and do the same chiseled stone brick thing? We're gonna make this really, really tall fireplace. Mossy brick there, stone brick right there, andesite slabs right there, and voila! It's close. It's getting close. To make this fireplace nice and deep and dark, of course, we put a little bit of blackstone on the back, and then the final touch, the cherry on the cake or the icing. All that I need to do is scramble around my building until I find my coal. The very final touch to any good fireplace is, of course, the fire inside of the place itself. Maybe something like that. Now, eventually, later on, I was imagining, like, Dragon Head or something cool right now. For now, I suppose, because this is all that I have, I'll go ahead and put this banner right there, and, I mean, it'll do. It kind of works. My next move here is, in pursuit of making this build feel a little bit more cozy, I think what I actually need to do is get a little bit less windows in here. Windows are really nice because, of course, they let a little bit of light into your build, but also, if you could just see clean through the window on every single side of your build, it feels like really big, grand, and open. If you're going for more of a cozy feel on your interior, big tip is make the interior feel a little bit more like cramped. Decorate it up, fill it up with small little details, tricks, maybe paintings, couches, bookshelves, you know, things like that. To help get the feel that you're going for, if you want cozy, less windows. Big tip. Another classic trick that I think really makes a build come to life, feel more cozy, is plants. I love plants. Not only are they so nice looking, but they're like purifying the oxygen or whatever, you know? Like as they exist and work. I can breathe so much better now. I don't think leaving our plant thing like that in the corner though is gonna cut it. Maybe we could put some bamboo trap doors on this thing and wow, it looks modern, it looks nice. That looks good. I like it. A great way to really spice up your interior, make it feel really professional and cool, is use different types of textures and blocks. Maybe use some fancy ones too, like copper, that's cool. Next up, the staple inside of any Minecraft living room. We need a couch. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of am in the dark as to what color of couch I want to do. Not that it matters that much. Great news though, it's so easy to change later on. If I get sick and tired of the purple couch that I'm about to throw into this build, well, if I get sick of it, it's no big deal. All that I need to do is come back in and re-dye the beds. I don't even need to make new beds or nothing like that. Just color them something else. Probably to make this really obvious that it's a couch here, we need a proper back on it, so maybe some more trapdoors. As you can see here today, trapdoors are such a great thing for doing interiors. And a small interior, they can almost always fit. And a bigger interior, I mean, clearly they're fitting here, but they leave room so you can like move around if you wanted to. Also, it's a good idea to like maybe not necessarily have everything line up perfectly. Like you see this table right here, the chest over there, I think instead I'll offset the chest like that and maybe actually put a stone cutter right there sitting on a table. Stone cutters are pretty useful. You never know when you need one. A pretty cool little build trick that you could do is a closet. If you have a spot in your wall where you could break it out, you could do like a door going into the wall like that, and then maybe an armor stand or just chests in there for like extra storage. Anyways, here lassies, when it comes to doing an interior, it's really all up to your imagination. Try and place a couple different interesting looking blocks around workstations, things like that. Maybe you'll come up with a cool design. Maybe start with a basic floor plan to help create your vision. Try and use some untraditional blocks, maybe the glazed terracotta for wallpapers. It's tricky, but it could look cool. Try out different floor designs in different rooms and maybe fill up the floor with things like tables or even carpets. Speaking of carpet, I'm thinking about maybe coming back in here and putting a carpet. I know carpet in the kitchen, maybe not the best idea, but I don't know. The storage room over here, in between cuts, I had to do a little bit of organization here. Now, I gotta admit, like, this is not the forever storage building. Definitely not in the way. There's not enough room here, but it's a little bit better. I organized it way more than this back wall than the living room used to be. And speaking of the living room, check this out. Some of my most favorite decorations of all time are also some of the newest ones. These decorated pots are so good, and they're literally called decorated pots for a reason. Maybe we'll do like a mourner one right there. That's my favorite shirt. And then maybe like, I don't know, one more right here. We go ahead and put the pot there, and I don't know, maybe that flower. And now my next big vision, my big dream here, it's not gonna like look perfect today, but I think it will look very, very nice and add to the house. We go ahead and put a, let's see, a map right there. And then this one should line up perfectly, a map right there. Look at that. Oh, that's cool looking. I love maps. They're so amazing for decoration. Especially if they're fully filled in. Just pretend. When doing houses, though, a big thing you gotta make sure you get just right is the light level. Absolutely, you don't want any dark spaces inside of your house. A dark space could mean big disaster. Speaking of dark spaces, I think this area is looking a little dim. Maybe a lantern right there to light it up, and I don't know, I feel like over here it looks pretty good. But what I could do is a lantern hanging up there on that trap door. Small little detail trick, and I don't know, I think it looks nice. I also have this small shelf that I added in up top. Why not? One more lantern up there. Now it's nice and bright in the whole house. Oh, wait, what's that? You want to see the bedroom and what I did with it? Yes. So I've been busy here. I did a lot of transformation. This room is admittedly the most bare bones room out of them all, but small closet that I built in right here. I don't really have extra armor right now, but when I do, I can throw it on the armor stand. A little bit of a chest right here with some cool, important tools that I found, or just random tools, and horse armor. I built a small table over here. I don't know. It's a small table. We could decorate it and maybe spice it up with a torch and I don't know, more stuff later. And then I was thinking a carpet in here as well. Maybe even a big fancy double bed, I'm not sure. I also decided to go ahead and finally open up this window. But I think I need glass in it. I also need to get my favorite painting of all time in this house. This one right there is haunted. It's mysterious. I love this painting. It's so good. So when it comes to storage, I'll admit it, I'm kind of still a little bit all over the place. Like I got dyes over here, I put food inside of here, I've got seeds right there, random storage room, whatever. I'll come back in and like build a proper storage building a little bit later on. Also a couple carpets inside of the house. I'm kind of just lacking like the sheep capacity to be able to get it all in. With today's build here, I don't know if it translates, but I really tried to just go ahead and let my imagination run wild. I saw an empty spot on the wall. I said, hey, why not a random shelf? That could be cool. Or a chest that I'll never be able to open. Maybe there's secret stuff in it. You use doors in creative ways to make different types of walls, whether it's trap doors or proper doors. You know, that actually all reminds me, now that I think about it, that I have this closet right here too that I never even used. I need another armor stand and put it in there. That'd be cool. Anyways though, interiors. I don't know about you, but I hope during the duration of today's episode, maybe you picked up something or at the least got a little bit of inspiration for your next Minecraft build. This room, I totally feel like this should be a cellar, right? And so, at long last, Project Hollow. It's not quite concluded quite yet, I think. But at the least, this starter house is no longer just a starter house. It's got a beautiful mansioned interior as well. And I don't know, I'm pretty happy with it. We also got this beautiful new tower in, which makes this, I don't know, I think this might be one of the most productive episodes of the entire series so far. It's a lot of building. Patron gang, I would like to send a big thank you to Pixie Phantom, Clayas, Nick C, Arlo, aka Bobby, MinecraftMojo.com, Steve M, Skelly Wampus, and Michael H. Thank you. What would you like to see next? You let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching. Smash like and subscribe. Patrons get early access to the episodes. Channel members get world downloads. One coming up for episode number 50. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.